On September 8, 2021, our 9th year anniversary, my partner and I eloped in the beautiful mountains of Banff. I truly believe that this was one of the best decisions of our lives, both financially and emotionally. As my friends around me planned their hella expensive wedding this year, I thought I'd share my experience with eloping. We spent about $20,000 for this fancy elopement, which is a lot for an elopement wedding. But if we did a regular wedding, it would have cost us around $60,000 on average. I don't believe that you need to spend a lot of money to celebrate your love with your partner. And more importantly, you need to do what's best for you and your partner. If that's a big fancy wedding, go for it. That's an intimate wedding with your friends and family, great. For us, it looked like traveling to a beautiful scenery and promising our love to each other. At the end of the day, this is your day. So in this video, I'm going to share the big picture of what you need to know when it comes to eloping. What are your reasons for eloping? When we got engaged, we decided to prioritize living together. At this point, we were still living at our parents' house and we had been together for about 8 years now, and it didn't make sense to get married and then not have a place. So instead of spending about $60,000 on average for a Toronto wedding, we decided to put that money or save up that money and actually get a 2-bedroom condo, which I made a video about. So after moving to our beautiful condo, that's really when we decided to start wedding planning. So we opted for elopement, and mainly because we didn't have a lot of money and we wanted to get married sooner rather than later. So that was the first reason. The second reason is I didn't have a lot of my closest friends living in Canada. So I grew up in the Philippines and then Dominican Republic before I moved here in Canada. So my main family here are really just my parents and my siblings, and then my high school friends and university friends. But having a wedding without my cousins or my childhood friends in the Dominican Republic would have been sad, and I know that I can't ask those people to come and fly to Canada because they wouldn't be able to afford it, and I just didn't want to spend a lot of money if there were key people in my life were missing. So when you're deciding to elope, figure out the reasons of why you want to do this. Is it because of family? Is it because of friends? Is it because of the budget? And whatever your reason is, you need to be able to stick to that reason, because at the end of the day, this is going to be your main decision. No one's going to make this decision for you. So really figure out why you want to do this and really be honest with your answers with yourself. Your non-negotiables. So before you even decide where you want to do your elopement, it's very important that you and your partner come up with your non-negotiable. So these are things that will make your elopement dream wedding come true, or even if you don't have an elopement, this is just things that would make your dream wedding come true. And for me, my non-negotiables really were an amazing views and an amazing photographer. I live close to Toronto, which means that there's not a lot of scenic views around here, and you'd have to drive an hour or two to get those nice scenic views for a wedding. And a lot of the wedding venues here are really just golf courses or big mansions, and I just couldn't imagine myself getting married in these type of places. So that's why I think that was another reason of why we opted for an elopement. I care more about these than my husband does, but yeah, I mean, it's your non-negotiable. So knowing these non-negotiables made it easier for us to pick a place that we wanted to elope. So we looked at places like the USA, Mexico, Europe, and really finding a very scenic mountainous view. But because this was happening during the pandemic, our options were actually very limited. So that's how we ended up choosing Banff, because we can only fly domestically at that time. So if you're planning an elopement, write down all the non-negotiables for your wedding, whether that's having a really nice view or just having a really experienced photographer and videographer, because those are the things that you're going to spend a lot of money on. What's your budget? So our initial budget was around $10,000, but with everything that we wanted to do for this wedding, we actually opted for a more luxurious elopement. So that cost us around $18,000 to $20,000, and that includes the 1 week of travel that we did right after our ceremony. So really, depending on your non-negotiables and everything else that are nice to have and things that you really wanted to do around your elopement, this is going to cost. You can decide how much you want to spend on. So for us, we actually got married in a place called Chateau Fairmont Lake Louise, and we we also stayed at the hotel there just to make it easier for us to prepare on the day off, and we didn't have to ask for any permissions for the hotel to use their grounds when it comes to the actual ceremony. And this hotel was more on the expensive side, but that's okay because this was worth it. So our next non-negotiable was our photography, which cost us around about 4K, which is really expensive. However, we did hire one of the best local photographers in town. And also I suggest that if you are eloping, don't bring your own photographer. Actually find the best photographer in that area, because they're going to save you a lot of time and therefore money, because they have probably done this so many times. They'll know exactly what time to do your photography, where to go, where to stand, when's the best time without a lot of people. So that's what happened for us. We had a lot of fun during our photo shoot because our photographers just knew the area very well. So there's a lot of things that you will spend money on when it comes to elopement, but it's still going to be so much less than if you were to have an actual wedding. And here's a quick list of all the things that we actually spent on for our elopement. And if you'd like to see a more detailed video on what I actually spent on my actual elopement, comment the word veil down below and I will know that you are interested in this video. Planning is your best friend. So one of the reasons that I didn't want to have my own wedding is because I hate planning a party. I don't like planning birthdays, events, housewarming parties, but I do them anyway because I think that's what you're supposed to do. But anyways, I did not want to plan a whole wedding, especially if the people that I cared about the most weren't going to be there. So added to the list of the reasons why I chose elopement. But for this elopement, there was a travel component involved, which I love travel planning, so I did not regret that one bit. But there are going to be things that you're going to plan ahead of time when it comes to elopement. And some of the examples are buying a wedding dress, which you need to be prepared 9 to 12 months before the wedding, contacting your marriage officiant, which you have to look for in the area, finding a local flower shop that you're going to use on the day of your wedding, and researching how to legally get married in the area or state that you want to get married at. So for us, we did not get legally married in Toronto. We got legally married in the province of Alberta, Canada, just to make the actual experience more legit, because it did not make any sense to get legally married here and then just have the elopement for show. That was a no-no for us, so we actually did get our license and marriage certificate from Alberta or Banff. So other things are like contacting for a hair and makeup appointment, figuring out, are you going to do it yourself or are you going to hire someone to do it for you? In that case, you need to take into account how much it's going to cost them for them to travel on the day of your wedding. And if you are eloping, there's a chance you might be in the remote area, so that might cost a little bit more. For me, I got married at Chateau Fairmont Lake Louise Hotel, so they already had a salon there, so I just used the salon there because I was not going to do my own hair and makeup on my wedding, but some people do that. Also, you need to figure out who are going to be your witnesses, because you usually need 2 witnesses when it comes to elopement. So for us, that was our photographer and our videographer. So there were only 4 of us in the entire duration of the wedding or the ceremonies, and that was enough for the officiant. And lastly, your honeymoon. Are you going to combine your elopement and your honeymoon, or are you going to do your elopement, plan your honeymoon later on? So for us, we had a mini honeymoon when we did our wedding. We rented a car and went around the province of Alberta, so we got to see different places during this time too. So we basically had a wedding plus a mini honeymoon on that time. What to expect on the day off? Honestly, everything went so smoothly because we were already staying at the place we were getting married at. It went well. So in the morning, my husband and I got breakfast right in the restaurant in the hotel. And then right after that, I went for my hair and makeup. My husband relaxed and did his own hair. And then our photographers came. So first they did a photo shoot with my husband, and then later on, close to the ending of my hair and makeup, the photographer actually came and took a few shots of me getting my makeup done. And after that, my husband went outside, and then I prepared, and I went back to the room and actually did my own thing. I steamed my dress and then I put it on. The photographer came, did a few shots, and then I picked up my flowers, which was staying at the hotel reception. So they actually kept the bouquet, and I just picked that up before I went for the ceremony and had our first look photography shoot. And then we started our ceremony, which took about 15 to 20 minutes. And then after that, we said goodbye to the officiant and then started the actual photo shoot. And that took about 5 hours, which is a long time, but it was a lot of fun. I didn't feel like it. We went to different areas of the mountains. We went on a canoe. We hiked the mountains. Yes, I hiked a mountain in my wedding dress. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, and then after that, we just went back to the hotel. We had a reservation in their fancy restaurant, and my husband had the best steak of his life, and it was amazing. Personal regrets and other things. I don't have any regrets when it comes to elopement. I still think this was the best decisions of our lives, both financially and emotionally. A lot of my friends are just getting married now, and seeing their stressful lives when it comes to wedding planning just really validated that we made the right decision for us. But that being said, there is some feelings of guilt that you didn't get to celebrate with your friends and family. And luckily my parents are very open-minded, and they didn't care much that we got an elopement, and they were still happy for us that we did that. But you might not be in that supportive environment, and in that case I'd give myself the reminder that, you know, this is your life and you get to choose what you want to do with it, whether that is with getting married or doing anything else for that matter. And if I did want a wedding or a fancier wedding, I can always do it later in life, and you can too. You can achieve all the dreams that you want right now, and then later on in your later lives, when you're more financially stable, then you can actually do everything that you want without sacrificing on anything. So anyways, I really hope that this video resonated with you, and that you be kind to yourself and you take it one day at a time. Bye.